This is the fastest moving chat I've seen in a while. Me too, Brian. Okay, Daniel's in the Philippines, 3 a.m. Dominique is in California, 11 a.m. right here with us. Massachusetts, baby. What's up, Francis? We got some good friends in Boston. Is it snowing there yet in Massachusetts? 9 p.m. in Egypt, Omar. Epic. Epic. We're not going to be in Egypt, but we're going to be close to Egypt in January. Richmond, Virginia, Alex. I don't know if you know this, but I'm from Richmond. That's RVA. That's my hometown. 3 a.m. in the Philippines, 8 p.m. in Barcelona. All right, guys, I think it's fair to say this is a pretty well represented international um, uh, Neil, I can't even get this many likes on a LinkedIn post. How many people are in this webinar? Yeah. So it looks like there's a little over 600 of us here today so far. Guys, you'll get a recording of this as well. So if at any point during today you have to bounce, don't feel bad about it. You'll get a recording that you can catch up on everything that you missed. That being said, there is going to be a pretty sexy gift at the end of this thing. That's just to try and get you guys to eat your veggies and stick till the end. But we got a pretty fun offer for the freelancing program at the end of this. All right, well, let's just get right into it. Let me pull up my screen share. If you've ever been in one of these with me before, you'll know Zoom is my nemesis, and I always have to work very slowly to choose the right things. All right, so share keynote. You'll also, if you've ever been to one of these with me before, you'll know I'm not a designer and I don't make presentations for a living. I try to keep these things as simple and Spartan as possible. It's just about the content, baby. Don't expect anything particularly foo-foo out of me. Some quick housekeeping items here. At the end of this presentation, workshop, what have you. We're going to do a Q&A session, as you know, a pretty robust, healthy Q&A session. So if you have any questions as I go, um, then add them to the little question box, which is where at the
Q&A.
at the bottom says Q&A. It looks like a little diagram. My interface went away because I'm screen sharing, so I'm looking at Courtney's. So it looks like a little chat bubble, right? So log your questions there. And if you don't have any questions, keep that section open anyways and upvote any questions that you want to see get answered. Because that's how we're going to organize it at the end, right? We're just going to go by most popular questions. So if you want to make sure a question gets answered, upvote it and like it, right? Last housekeeping item is this was on the landing page and is in some of the emails that is in all the emails that we sent out. A chunk of this presentation is going to rely on you having access to Sales Navigator on LinkedIn. Now, you don't have to have Sales Navigator today because you're getting the recording, so you can set this up, at your leisure in over the next month. But Sales Navigator is a massive asset. It's a huge tool for freelancers. It changed how I thought about LinkedIn. I thought LinkedIn was relatively useless as a platform until my good friend Chris Cosolino turned me on to Sales Navigator, and he runs an agency, a LinkedIn agency, and LinkedIn hires his agency to um, what's the word to improve Sales Navigator for them. So we've got the inside track on Sales Navigator, and it's a pretty great thing. So I've been talking long enough to help you go to give you the time to go join it, subscribe to Sales Navigator now if you don't have it already. But again, if we get to that point and uh, and you don't have it, that's fine. Take a watch what I do. Watch me set up to save searches in the lead lists, and go get make you'll be pretty certain of the value of it after watching what I do with it, and you can go get it after this webinar. All right. And it does cost a little money. It's not substantial, And if you get one client with it, it pays for itself each month. I mean, it's if you get one client with it, it should 10x, 800x for itself, each month, depending on how much you're charging. All right, I'm gonna figure out how this bar keeps showing up every time. I'm gonna put this guy down here so it's not. And then we're gonna minimize this, and then we're gonna be good to go. All right, let's get started. Everybody ready? I should probably keep the chat up here. Look, that thing's moving. All right, cool. Jacob says, "Let's do it." Jonathan says, "Yep, let's with your blessing, I'm going to get started." Courtney's in the chat as me. If you're talking to Jamie in the chat, you're talking to me. If anything is like outwardly confusing and there is a mass influx of people in the chat saying, "Hang on, do something, go slower, give me that one again," let me know. Otherwise, we're just going to get through this so we can get to the Q&A. All right. So let me start with something that, based on my thousands of conversations with freelancers, I can say freelancers don't hear nearly enough. If your business feels unpredictable right now, if some months feel fantastic, you can do no wrong, and then the next month feels like you've somehow been erased from the internet, uh, it's not because you're lacking talent. So, go easy on yourself. It's not because, any particular algorithm has a personal vendetta against you. And it's certainly not because you're just not working hard enough. You need to hustle harder. Once you know what works, that's when you can hustle harder. It's usually because not enough of the right people know you exist, and the few who do know you exist um, don't have a clear picture of what problem you solve. And that's your responsibility, right? Freelancers are taught to focus on marketing tactics predominantly, and that's probably because that's easy to make content about. You can make some pretty viral marketing content, but really everything's downstream of clarity. Uh, Clarity in who you help, clarity in what problem you solve, and clarity in why you're the safest option that a lead has to solve their problem. So today, we're going to help you build that clarity and then show you how to turn it into a predictable pipeline, specifically using LinkedIn as your primary engine. All right. And I don't mean giving you post more content advice here. I mean showing you the layers of how trust is built, like how decisions are actually made on platforms like LinkedIn, and how freelancers uh, create consistent lead flow without needing to become influencers, right? Without posting every day and without coming across like a used car salesman. No disrespect to any used car salesman in the room today. We all know what I mean. By the end of this hour, you'll have a fully working system. One you can run in an hour or two a day. One that I run in an hour or two each day, and that my the business owners I've worked with on through this training have run every day. That gets you in the rooms where clients make hiring decisions long before you ever show up, right? So let's start with something foundational. Most freelancers who are, lead generation pinch, think that they have a marketing problem. They don't. They have an offer problem. And this is counterintuitive because when leads slow down, the instinct is to fix everything except the offer, right? You try posting more, you try DMing more, you update your website, you mess around with your pricing, you redo your social media profiles, you make your 17th portfolio, right? You learn an entirely new trendy skill and start chasing that one down. And regardless of what you do, somehow things get harder. It gets even more difficult to find leads because here's the paradox. The more effort you put into fixing the symptoms, the more you end up doubling down on the core issue that's actually causing all the symptoms, right? Because when your offer is vague, low stakes, not urgent, misaligned, everything downstream collapses. Your leads dry up because nobody recognizes themselves in what you're saying. Your pricing disqualifies you because the problem you solve isn't painful enough. Your sales calls feel like uphill battles because the stakes aren't high enough for the client. Your content feels like you're shouting into the void because you're talking broadly instead of talking specifically about your offer. Your referrals slow down because people can't describe you. They don't know who to put you in front of. So before we talk about any like tactical strategy, which is going to be a big part of today, I need you to get anchored in one thing. Your offer must be painfully specific. Um, and I don't mean I do web design or I do copywriting or I'm an accountant for small businesses. Like that's not an offer, that's a category. I mean I help specific type of person solve specific, urgent, costly problem and move towards specific outcome, right? Most freelancers try to compete in the skills marketplace where 100,000 others are basically saying the same thing. But the pros and the folks here today after this will know that the only thing that cuts through noise is specificity, right? Say you're the owner of a new vegan protein bar brand, right? Congratulations. That's I'm proud of you. You need someone to design your wrapper and packaging. That's the objectives. That's the problem you're solving. Are you going to hire this person? I'm an elite graphic designer with 12 years in the biz. Or are you going to hire this person? I run a 6-month in-store CPG packaging testing framework that develops data-driven design optimized for off-the-shelf purchase. Same profession, graphic designer, but one of them has positioned themselves specifically as a result in a box, right? And notice how in this one, graphic designer, this one, the word graphics or design is not mentioned once in that offer, right? It's all about the problem that you're solving for the customer, the pain that you're helping to balm. Think of specificity like a spear. You cannot break through the noise of the internet, the noise of a platform like LinkedIn with breadth, right? You can't make yourself as wide as possible and try to catch everyone. You break through with a single sharp point, right? And then after you're inside, once you're in the room, you can do some damage. You can solve multiple problems. You can build a whole ecosystem and serve your clients in all kinds of ways. But to get into that room in the first place, the spear is required, right? So how do we build that spear? Let's start with the niche. And we're going to get through this quickly because I know you guys have probably seen many a piece of content on this kind of stuff, but I just want to get us on the same sheet of music here. Without a person, there's no problem to solve. And without an industry, Sales Navigator, the commenting strategy we're going to go through, the DMing, the lead magnets, most of this training is not going to be effective, right? So, this should go super quick. Take 10 seconds to answer this question or jot it down. Who's the one person you'd love to work with next month, and what industry are they in, right? Don't overthink it. It's always surprised me how much effort freelancers put into picking a niche, and they end up picking something too broad anyways. But don't overthink it. Don't try to predict the future of your business. Just choose. We need to create focus. And if you're having difficulty choosing, take another moment here to just audit your network. Is there an industry that's overrepresented there? Do you have a lot of family in the restaurant business? Are your college buddies all in fintech? If you have folks on the inside, you're already going to be ahead of the game because it's all about networking. That's what today is dependent on. You should be able to choose a niche in 2 minutes. I mean, it's tough to hear for the people that have been spending months on this, but it's not that important. The niche is not the important part. There's no such thing as a bad niche. There's no wrong answer. You can pick literally any industry that you're interested in or that is, overrepresented in your network. The important thing is the problem you solve for that niche. It's the second half of the spear, the problem. And here's where freelancers usually go really wrong, right? Almost every freelancer with a lead generation issue I've ever encountered really had a problem issue that they didn't know about. So you need a problem that is both costly and urgent now, right? Of course, this will evolve as you go. The problems of today will not be the problems of tomorrow, but you're going to keep the tools you use to solve that problem, your craft and your expertise. Um, but you need to be able to identify what costly, urgent problem you're currently solving for your clients with those tools. Let me give you an example. Redecorating your bathroom is a problem, right? Maybe you've wanted to replace the tile, change the curtains, swap the vanity, but it's not urgent, right? And it's not costing you money every day that your bathroom is not redecorated. You can take your time, you can shop around, you can browse Pinterest, meet a few contractors, have a chat with them, see what their budget is, and say maybe we try this in a few months when we're ready, right? I've probably just described how a lot of calls with your clients go, right? So an ugly bathroom is a problem. Now imagine the pipe under your sink bursts and your bathroom is adding an inch of water every hour. Now that's a problem too, but it's something different than the first one. It's costly and urgent. Every hour of the floor is getting more and more destroyed, and the longer you wait to fix this, the more money you're going to spend repairing the damage. Are you going to spend time price shopping with a flooding bathroom? Are you going to take a few days to interview contractors and see if you guys vibe? If you don't have it in the budget, are you going to wait until you do? Nope. You're going to find the first competent person, pay them whatever it takes to show up fast, and you're going to figure it out afterwards, right? Your offer, the offer that we're going to deploy against, LinkedIn with all these strategies today, needs to solve the burst pipe problem, not the redecorating problem. All right. And you need to be brutally honest with yourself. Because the people that have optimized for this, for the burst pipe problem, um, they don't have a lot of issues in their business because the offer's done all the work for them. So this is where you want to spend the most of your time. In other words, uh, it needs to be a pain pill, not a vitamin, right? A vitamin is a nice to have. A pain pill is fix this before something breaks, right? So your only job in offer building is to match a specific person to a burst pipe, and that's it. Everything else, your pricing, your marketing, your pipeline, your inbound, your referrals, gets easier once that match is made. And the stuff we're talking about today definitely gets more effective, right? Um, you know, I mean, it'll what we're gonna build out today will move you an inch or it'll move you a mile based on this stuff, right? So if you need to, and most of you do, even those of you that are watching right now saying, "Not me, Brindle, my offer kicks ass," fix that before you go hard on today's strategy. Really assess. Now, once the offer is clear, we get into the part freelancers never realize is the real engine. And this is the part that I want you to really lean in for today. Uh, Most jobs never make it to the internet, right? The opportunities that would change your business, the opportunities that changed my business, my friends' businesses, the ones that pay well, the ones that are actually fun, the ones that respect your expertise and your opinion and build your reputation, those happen at the me and you level, not the public job post level, right? Let me explain what I mean by that. Well, let's do this. Imagine your own behavior, right? Let's say you have a costly, urgent problem that needs solved. If it's done improperly, it's the death of your business. So we're talking important, urgent, high stakes, right? How do you go about finding the person that you'll trust to solve this problem for your business? First, you'll ask, who do I know that can solve this problem? That's the first stage of the networking gauntlet, the me level. If you don't know anyone who's a master at solving that problem, right? What's the next thing you're going to do? Next thing you're going to do is you're going to ask your trusted network of friends and family and fellow business owners, hey, do you know anyone that's really elite at solving this problem? Have you worked with anyone that's fixed this for you, right? That's the second stage of the networking gauntlet, the you level. Only after all that, if a job makes it through the me and the you levels of the networking gauntlet, will you then hit the internet and see what Google or Upwork has to say? Who would the algorithm recommend, right? Who does the internet suggest? the people that are optimizing for, for ads or SEO or social media, um, are fighting over scraps, the things, the jobs that didn't make it through the you and the me stages of the network gauntlet. And I can almost hear you now saying, well, aren't I in a webinar about a social media platform, right? To which I would say that LinkedIn is not social media. It's not. It's not a social media platform, and I'll show you more of what I'm talking about in a minute here. But it's basically what LinkedIn is, the business conference experience at scale. They've taken the experience of a B2B networking conference and put it on the internet. And it's just open 24/7 at any point in the day. You can walk in and insert yourself into a conversation on the show floor, right? But yeah, j jobs are decided in the me you stage. They're decided in emails. They're decided in Slack groups and DMs and comment sections on LinkedIn, texts between coworkers, referrals, meetings, uh, internal conversations. And this is what I call networking at scale, not networking the old-fashioned way, shaking hands and swapping business cards at the conventions, but digitally inserting yourself into the rooms where decisions are being made long before the decisions make them their way to the internet stage of the gauntlet, right? And doing that at scale on LinkedIn. This becomes a lot simpler once you shift your mindset from I need to get clients to I need to make buddies. Because the truth is, a buddy is more valuable than a customer. And many of you probably understand this, even if you haven't like put pen to paper to make this observation. But let's draw it out here. You're all probably familiar with this. This is your basic funnel, right? You find some leads, you nurture them effectively, and most disappear, and a handful become clients, right? This isn't the business I want you to build. And this type of funnel is such a waste of the value that LinkedIn offers. So today, networking at scale, what we're talking about, looks more like you make a bunch of buddies, and you nurture those relationships, and they recommend you to their networks and teams within their company. A customer gives you one project, a buddy gives you visibility in their entire network, right? A buddy talks about you, a buddy engages with your posts, refers you without being asked, and more often than not, a buddy eventually becomes a client anyway, right? This is why our outbound strategy today, on LinkedIn is not about selling at scale. It's about connecting at scale. And here's where most freelancers have been building on a false belief. They think outbound is inherently salesy, but outbound only feels salesy if you're trying to sell, right? If your goal is to make friends, not customers, outbound becomes one of the most enjoyable parts of your business. Now, let's get tactical here. The backbone of your pipeline is your sales navigator engine, but not in the way that most people teach it. A lot of folks kind of teach outbound as a numbers game, send 500 messages, get four replies, that kind of thing. We're not doing that. We're building a system that reliably puts you in front of